There are women who don't see you as just an older man. They see you as their secret prize. They won't tell you. They won't show it in public. But inside, they melt in your presence. And you still think you're too old to fall in love, that your time has passed. No, it's not that you missed the train. It's that you never learned how to drive it. Most men over 40 believe that young women only care about youth. But what many secretly crave is exactly what you can offer: direction, presence, dominance. If you don't know how to read the signs, you'll walk right past hidden desire. You'll miss out on chances that could change your life without even realizing they were there. Today I'm going to reveal the 8 signs a woman shows when she sees you as an irresistible man. Some are subtle, others bold. But the last one changes everything. Because once you recognize that signal, you won't need to chase. You'll just need to show up and watch. I'm Celia, psychologist, woman, and the voice that won't lie to you. Stay with me until the end, because after this video, you'll start walking like a man who no longer doubts his power. Have you ever wondered why some women don't need to say a word for you to feel their attention, but you need to talk a lot just to get noticed by them? That imbalance has an explanation. You're still seeking validation while they're already studying you in silence. And that's where the first point of this video begins. She watches you in silence, when you're not looking. Female desire doesn't shout, it suggests. It shows itself in moments of distraction, in stolen glances, in awkward silences when you walk into a room. She's not the one making the first move, but she's not hiding either. She watches, measures your presence, scans your body, how you move, how you carry yourself when you're alone without seeming abandoned. A younger woman who's drawn to an older man doesn't act like a love-struck teenager. She acts like a woman who sees authority in front of her, and that turns her on. Picture this. You're at a restaurant, a meeting, a gym. You're not doing anything special, you're just being yourself. But suddenly, you feel that glance. Not direct, not obvious. It comes from the side, lasts less than a second, but cuts through you like an emotional scanner. That look isn't random, it's a test, a kind of unconscious filter she sends out to see if you're one of those men who notice things. Because if you do, and you don't flinch, don't smile like a schoolboy, don't get nervous, then you've already passed the first test without saying a word. What's most striking about this kind of silent desire is how often men ruin it by talking, trying to impress, explaining themselves, putting on a show, when in reality, they had already won. Because there's something mature men still haven't learned to value: the power of quiet observation, the allure of the one who doesn't perform but simply exists, the one who doesn't chase the spotlight but owns it. A woman who watches you when you're not looking isn't bored. She's fantasizing, building a version of you in her mind. And if you carry yourself like a man who doesn't need to prove anything, that fantasy grows, it feeds, it becomes restrained desire. But if you react like a man who doesn't believe he deserves that, who's surprised, who gets anxious, it all collapses. Because her attraction isn't to your face or your clothes. It's to your calm, your steadiness, your mystery. She's not going to tell you she likes you. She won't send you flowers or confess how she feels. But if you know how to catch the glance that slips away, you don't need words. Because real female desire doesn't express itself. It hides, waiting to be discovered by the only kind of man who doesn't need permission to understand. The one who already knows. The one who doesn't look to find. The one who, when he looks back, leaves her undone, without saying a word. If a woman watches you in silence when you're not looking, it's because she's already started to see you differently. But if she also dares to tease you playfully, to throw in cheeky little jokes without crossing the line, then you've awakened something deeper, respect mixed with attraction. This brings us to the second key point of the video. She challenges you with humor, but never with rebellion. A young woman who truly desires you doesn't need to assert herself. She doesn't need to compete with you. She's not trying to prove she's strong, independent, or capable of dominating you. She does that with men she doesn't respect. With you, she plays. She teases. She throws ironic lines at you, tests you with comments that seem bold, but always with a hidden smile. Why? Because she's sizing you up, but she's also intrigued. It's a game, yes, but not just any game. It's the kind of game only a feminine woman plays with a man she sees as superior. Not superior in status, but in composure. Psychologically, female humor serves two purposes: to hide vulnerability and to test the other's strength. When a woman laughs with you, she's saying she's not afraid of you, but when she does it without sarcasm, without cruelty, without trying to belittle you, she's revealing her admiration. And if you don't understand that, you might make the mistake of feeling attacked, or worse, of trying to show her you can be funny too. But that's not the point. This isn't about playing like a boy. It's about holding your energy like a man, showing that nothing knocks you off balance. Not her beauty, not her laughter, not her subtle provocations. The stoic man doesn't react, he observes. A man with composure doesn't stoop to her level when she teases him. He watches, smiles if he wants to, ignores if necessary, but he never explains himself, never justifies himself, because he knows that provocation isn't an attack. It's seduction in disguise. And if you fall into the trap of reacting with insecurity, trying to compete, trying to impress her with your wit, you disappear in her perception. You stop being the man who holds his ground and become the clown who entertains. Female rebellion appears when there's no masculine direction, but when a woman throws humor your way with respect, with contained flirtation, with that mix of irony and sweetness, she's giving you a glimpse of her desire. She's not testing your intelligence, she's testing your emotional strength, because she wants to see if you can hold your ground, your masculinity, your center, even when she's messing with your ego. And that's the key, because a woman might admire your body, your age, your style, but if she can't admire your response, your composure, your calm under gentle fire, she won't desire you. You'll just be another man, but if every time she provokes you, you don't react, you just hold your place with a steady look and a quiet smile, then she realizes that with you, it's not about winning. With you, it's about belonging. Because there's one line she'll never cross: disrespect. And if she doesn't cross it, it's because her desire is already kneeling before your calm. A woman who watches you in silence and teases you playfully without ever crossing the line has already crossed an inner threshold. But if she also starts seeking your approval without asking for it directly, then you're looking at a powerful signal. We've reached the third point in this video, and this is where things truly begin to shift. She seeks your approval, but pretends not to care. She won't admit it. She won't say, "Do you like me?" She won't beg for compliments, but she'll drop indirect hints, veiled questions, casual phrases loaded with meaning. Do you think this is too much? Sometimes I feel a little crazy. Behind each of those lines, there's a hidden plea. Tell me you like me. Tell me I'm not out of place. Tell me I'm enough for you. Because when a woman sees an older man as irresistible, she's not looking for him to seduce her. She wants to feel chosen by him. That's the difference. She doesn't want your free attention. She wants your silent validation. The strategy you can apply here is brutally simple. Don't feed her immediate need. Reward her slowly. Instead of tossing out compliments impulsively, respond with a pause, a measured look, a silence that carries weight. Make her feel that her effort to impress you isn't invisible, but it's also not guaranteed. This isn't manipulation. It's how a high-value man shows that his approval isn't bought with sweet talk or a low-cut top. It's earned through presence, consistency, and genuine interest. Think of it like a king on his throne. He doesn't need to declare his power. He simply watches how others behave around him. If she changes her tone when you arrive, if she dresses up more when she knows you'll be there, if she drops your name into random conversations, she's seeking your approval. But if you give it too quickly, the game ends. If you give it away without effort, it loses value. That's why every gesture from you should be a firm, measured, elegant response. Not an eager reaction, but a conscious choice. So how does this play out in real life? Imagine you're with her at a gathering, and she throws out a provocative line just to see your reaction. Everyone laughs. You don't. You just look at her, not with judgment, but with that slight expression that says, "I know what you're doing." She feels it, because the male presence doesn't need to shout to be felt. And when you hold your center, she feels like she's got your attention, but not your approval. And for a woman who's desiring you, that's addictive. Before we move on, if these signals are opening your eyes, make sure to subscribe and hit like on this video. I want to know what country you're watching from, and I want you to leave a comment with just one phrase: "She wants my approval," because what's coming next will change the way you understand female desire. And the final lesson isn't just another signal. It's the one that separates an ordinary man from an unforgettable one. When a woman starts quietly seeking your approval, most men get confused. They think they need to reinforce that interest with instant compliments, quick responses, constant attention. But that urge to please is exactly what takes your value away. Because there's something every woman notices when she's in front of a man who truly moves her: his calm, his control, his presence that doesn't need to shout. We've reached the fourth point of this video, and it is, she gets nervous when you stay calm. This is one of the most deceptive moments for the male ego. Because when she gets flustered, laughs more than usual, touches her hair, loses her train of thought, many men think they need to break the ice, that they should save her from that nervousness with charm, with humor, with friendliness. No, mistake, a big one. The real power of your presence isn't in easing her tension, it's in holding it. Let her feel that inner disarray. Let her body remind her she's in front of a man who doesn't need approval, who's not there to entertain, but to make an impact. The mental error that ruins this moment is thinking that a woman's discomfort must be fixed, that if she gets nervous, you're doing something wrong. It's the opposite. That discomfort is the exact reaction that reveals desire, because when a younger woman tenses up around an older man, it's not fear, it's respect, it's chaotic attraction, it's emotional chemistry. And if you panic and try to balance it out, you destroy it all. You kill the mystery, you give her certainty, and desire dies in certainty. This mistake runs deep in the male mind because we were raised to be likable, not powerful. We were told to make women feel good, to protect them, care for them, entertain them. No one taught us that a woman also needs to feel the inner chaos triggered by a man who doesn't bend. A man who doesn't smile out of obligation, who doesn't get nervous just because she does, because he understands that her tension is a sign of attraction. And the consequences of not understanding this are brutal. You end up becoming the emotional clown who smooths things over, the nice guy who makes her feel safe but never excited, the friendly companion she keeps around but who never throws her off balance. Because a woman who feels too comfortable around you doesn't desire you. She appreciates you, includes you, cares for you. But she doesn't burn for you, and that's the gap. Because you're not looking to be appreciated, you want to be chosen. That's why, when you notice she's nervous and you're calm, don't move, don't save her, don't become the emotional jester. Stay there, in silence if needed, just looking at her, without needing to explain yourself, because that calm of yours is what turns her on. Because it tells her, without words, that you're not like the rest, that you're not there to ask for permission. You're there because you have the power to simply be without begging. When a woman gets nervous around you and you stay calm, you're setting the pace of desire. But if you don't understand that dynamic, you might make the worst mistake, lowering your energy to make her feel more comfortable. And when you do that, she stops seeing you as a man. She starts seeing you as a watered-down version of what could have captivated her. Because respect, once lost, takes blood to earn back. That brings us to the fifth point in this video. She mimics your words, your gestures, your way of speaking. At first glance, this might seem positive, even cute, but many men don't grasp what it really means. When a woman starts repeating your phrases, using your tone, adopting your codes, she's not just playing around. She's absorbing your energy. She's tuning into your frequency. In psychology, this is called unconscious mirroring of admiration. And it's one of the strongest ways a woman shows she's been moved, not by your looks, but by your presence. But here's the problem. When you notice she's starting to imitate you, instead of maintaining that subtle distance that fuels attraction, you match her. You start talking like her. You lighten up to seem more relatable. You mold yourself to be more likable. And that's when you lose. Because she doesn't want a reflection of herself. She wants a center. She wants something that pulls her out of her chaos, not something that replicates it. And if you abandon your center to please her, all you do is deflate the mystery that made you desirable in the first place. The real consequence of this is brutal. You end up being a domesticated man. A guy she likes, yes, but no longer excites her. Because female desire doesn't feed on familiarity. It feeds on difference, on strength, on contrast. And if you become her mirror, you don't spark anything. You just validate. And what's merely validated no longer excites. So how do you turn this around? By not imitating her energy. By not trying to connect through sameness, but through direction. You're not here to be fun and relatable. You're here to be the man she can't stop watching. The man who doesn't bend to fit in, but holds his shape until she chooses to lean in. And to do that, you need to adopt a firm mindset. You're not competing with her language. You're leading with yours. And if you do it right, she won't want to change you. She'll want to become more like you. So remember this, if she starts repeating your words, don't return the favor. Don't mimic her voice, her humor, or her tone. Hold your ground, assert your style. Because that imitation is an act of seduction. But it only works if you don't become a weak reflection, and instead remain the source, the center, the place she wants to come back to, not the one she needs to fix. Because when you set the rhythm, she dances. But if you stop setting it, she walks away. When a woman starts mimicking the way you speak, your phrases, your gestures, it means you've already entered her emotional world. But if you don't understand the power of that influence, and you lower yourself to her level just to feel accepted, you lose your leadership. Because a man who abandons his position just to be liked doesn't inspire. He dissolves. And when that happens, she starts testing you, provoking you, challenging your structure to see if you're the real thing or just a costume. That brings us to the 6th point in this video. She throws feminine tests at you and smiles when you pass them. Picture it. You're with her. Everything's flowing. Then suddenly, she brings up another man. Not because she wants him, but because she wants to see how you react. She shows up late, acts distracted, talks with exaggerated independence. Why? Because she wants to know if you're the kind of man who crumbles under pressure, or the kind who stands firm even when the world shouts at him. These feminine tests aren't childish, they're biological. They're how a woman filters out emotionally reactive men from emotionally grounded ones. Here's the mental image you need. You're in a room, standing across from her. She throws a sugar-coated jab. My ex was intense, but at least he texted me every day. That's not a memory. It's a test, a psychological bomb. If you fall into the trap of defending yourself, reacting with jealousy, or trying to win some imaginary competition, you've lost. But if you simply look at her with calm, without changing your tone, without shifting your energy, you've passed. Because she wasn't looking for information, she was looking for steadiness. Now imagine another scenario. She dresses provocatively and makes ambiguous comments in public. Not because she wants to cheat, but because she wants to see if you're the kind of man who gets rattled, or the one who commands presence without raising his voice. And if you react with nervousness, explanations, or begging for her attention, you vanish in her desire. But if you hold your posture, don't compete, don't give up your center, then she smiles, because she's choosing you. These tests aren't romantic, they're brutal, because what she needs isn't tenderness, it's certainty. And if you don't get that, you become her entertainment, not her choice. You stay trapped in the role of the man who responds, who reacts, who begs for clarity, when what you should be doing is radiating it, And the worst part is, you don't even realize you're being tested. You just feel something cool off, something drift away, but you can't explain why. And it's because you already failed the test without knowing it. So burn this into your mind. When a woman throws those little provocations at you, she's not playing games. She's looking for the man who doesn't move out of impulse, who doesn't need to defend himself, who doesn't react, because that is the man she can't control. And a woman, when she surrenders to someone, doesn't do it out of fear. She does it out of respect, out of desire, because she knows that man is the only one she doesn't need to test anymore, because she's seen it all, and he's still standing. If you've made it this far, you already understand that every gesture from a woman, every provocation, every silence, isn't innocent. They're filters, tests, ways to see if you're the kind of man who can hold desire without falling apart. But now we've reached the most intimate moment, the most revealing one, because when she realizes she can't dominate you, can't test you, when you're the man who stays grounded even in chaos, she surrenders, not with words, with confessions. And that brings us to the 7th point of this video. She talks about her chaos, hoping you'll bring order to it. A woman doesn't hand you her chaos because she blindly trusts you. She gives it to you because she can't control it anymore, because she needs a container, a boundary, a limit. And if you understand that, if you see that her confession isn't weakness, but a deep sign of admiration, then you're facing the most powerful moment of all. Because the man who listens without judgment, who watches without drama, who holds space without absorbing her pain, is the man she truly begins to desire, because he's not trying to save her. He simply understands her without losing himself in her darkness. But if you, upon hearing that chaos, become her therapist, her savior, her best friend, you've already lost. If you become the man who holds her but forgets himself, who listens but gets consumed, who guides her but stops leading himself, then you stop being a man. You become an emotional resource. And that, sooner or later, kills desire. Because female desire cannot survive in an excess of understanding. It needs tension, direction, presence. She tells you about her wounds, her exes, her traumas, how broken she feels. Not because she wants your sympathy, she wants strength. She wants to see you standing in the middle of her storm, without flinching. Because if you can withstand her chaos without falling into it, if you can look at her without losing your focus, if you can hear her without becoming her personal psychologist, then you become her man, not the one who listens, the one who redirects, not with advice, with example. This is where many men get lost, because they think love means sacrifice, that you have to give everything to heal a woman. But no, real masculine power isn't in surrendering. It's in standing firm, in listening without letting her pain consume you, in understanding her without becoming her victim, because when a woman opens up emotionally, she's not looking for a solution, she's looking for a reference point. And if you become that point, that solid axis, that figure that doesn't crack, then you're no longer just attractive, you become her need. And from that point, there's no turning back. You decide, you can be the man who gets pulled into her story, or the one who leads her into a new one. But you can't be both, because when a woman surrenders, it's to the one man who doesn't need to tell her what to do. He just stands there, firm, present, unshakable. And if you understand that, if you embody it, if you hold that line, you won't just be an older man. You'll be the only one she couldn't walk away from, because without you, her chaos returns, and her desire disappears. If a woman gives you her chaos, and you know how to hold it without breaking, without losing your direction, then she's no longer testing you. She's choosing you. But there's still one final level, the most subtle, the most dangerous, the most powerful. Because now it's no longer about what you do, what you say, or how you hold her. It's about what you provoke simply by being. We've reached the 8th point of this video. She listens to you, even when you're not trying to impress her. You don't get this with techniques. You can't buy it with expensive clothes or fake it with rehearsed lines. It happens when you stop acting from need and start living from awareness. When you speak without seeking a reaction, when you walk without expecting a gaze, when your voice is no longer a tool for seduction, but simply an extension of your presence. That's when a woman starts listening to you with her body, with her breath, with her desire, because she's not caught up in your words, she's open to your energy. But most older men never reach this. Do you know why? Because they're still stuck in the urgency to be liked, to be approved of, to be accepted, because they haven't broken the childhood pattern of needing external validation. And as long as you're there, your words won't carry weight, your presence won't stand out, your energy won't shift anything, because you're still performing, and she can feel it, not with logic, with instinct, with that part of her that knows when a man is whole and when he's just pretending. If you want a woman to listen to you, even when you're not trying to impress her, there's one immediate action you can take. Stop trying. Yes, stop trying to win her over. Stop looking for a reaction. Stop speaking just to be validated. And start occupying your space with complete certainty. Speak when you have something to say. Look when you truly want to see. Move with direction, not with anxiety. Because when you speak from that inner place, your voice carries weight, and a woman feels it. But this demands a completely different mindset, one that expects nothing, that doesn't beg, that doesn't need to prove itself. You have to become the man who doesn't walk into a room to draw attention, but to bring presence, who doesn't touch a body to receive approval, but to spark connection, who doesn't speak to seduce, but to lead. Only then does a woman lower her guard. Only then does she listen with her soul. Only then does she surrender without conditions. And yes, this is demanding, because becoming that kind of man isn't comfortable. It's not fast, it's not easy, but it's the only way. Because if you can't hold your ground in silence, you'll never be truly heard. If you don't speak from truth, you'll never be truly desired. And if you don't stop performing, you'll always be ignored by the women who are truly worth it. So look at yourself now. Ask yourself if you're ready to stop pretending. Because only when you stop trying to impress do you start to make an impact. And that, my dear, is when a woman stops listening with her ears and starts listening with her desire. If you've made it to the end of this video, you're no longer the same man who hit play out of curiosity. Because now you know the signs a woman gives when she doesn't see you as an old man, but as a desire. Not teenage desire, not shallow desire. Mature, visceral, hidden desire. But what you do with that truth, that's up to you. You can keep hiding behind your age, your excuses, your fear, or you can claim the power that's been inside you all along and start living it. No one's coming to rescue you. No one's going to give back the respect you gave away. It's your choice, and there's no turning back. This channel isn't for everyone, and you just proved you're not just anyone. Because not many can handle hearing the truth without sugarcoating, without motivational quotes, without playing the victim. Here we speak directly, raw, unfiltered. Because only from that place can a man rebuild himself. If anything you heard today hit you, hurt you, or woke something up in you, I want you to write it in the comments below, along with the country you're watching from. Just one phrase: she already saw me. I'm Celia, woman, psychologist, and the voice that gives words to everything men feel, but don't dare to say. House of Wisdom exists for that, to transform the people-pleasing man into a respected man, to wake up what routine, guilt, and exhaustion made you forget. This is not a place for pity. It's a place for understanding, for taking back control, for no longer being invisible. Subscribe right now if you haven't already, because this isn't just another channel, it's a community of men who no longer swallow the modern narrative, men who are waking up. And share this video with that friend, that brother, that co-worker who still believes he's too old to seduce, because maybe the thing that saves him today is this truth. And don't leave just yet. This isn't where the conversation ends. Watch the 2 videos that are about to appear on screen. Choose the one that makes you most uncomfortable, because right there, in what's hardest to face, is exactly what you most need to hear.